Voting is underway in the first round of the snap elections in France in what is seen as the country's most consequential elections in decades. The legislative snap polls will take place in two rounds. The first round today, the second one on the 7th of July. Voting opened at 8 a.m. local time and is scheduled to end at 6 p.m. local time. But polling stations in Paris and other major cities are expected to stay open till well after that. In France's overseas territories, the voting process began on Saturday. Residents of the tiny French archipelago of Saint-Pierre and Miquelon off the coast of Canada were the first to cast their ballots in the first round of elections.
Important parce que quand bien même on habite à l'étranger, on reste citoyenne française, ça ne nous détache pas de là où on vient. J'ai de la famille là-bas, j'ai encore ma vie en France d'une part. Donc pour moi, oui, c'est important de voter étant à l'étranger parce que on peut tôt ou tard, on ne connaît pas l'avenir, je pourrais effectivement rentrer au pays.
France's islands in the Caribbean and the South American territory of French Guyana also voted on Saturday. Voters hit polling stations in the Pacific territory of New Caledonia as well. French expatriates in New York said they follow politics in France very closely and are all very concerned.
Je pense que c'est important de voter, oui, où qu'on soit. La France nous propose de voter, y compris quand on n'y réside pas. Je pense que c'est important. Et de, à nouveau, resserrer le lien et montrer qu'on appartient toujours à la communauté.
The second polling round is due on the 7th of July, at the end of which France will have elected the 577 members of its National Assembly. Two young leaders are gunning for the Prime Minister's post. 28-year-old frontman of far-right Jordan Bardella is squaring off against Prime Minister Gabriel Attal. The elections come after French President Emmanuel Macron called for a snap poll after suffering a crushing defeat to Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally Party in the European Parliament polls on June 9th. And for more on this, we were earlier joined by our correspondent Himanshu Dikshit from Paris.
What I can tell you is that I've been living in France since 2014 and never have I experienced such a big political turmoil here. We have to remember that Macron had called these elections because he suffered a huge blow in the European Union elections. We have to understand that Macron's position is not under any problem at all. He remains the president probably no matter what happens in these elections. However, why he called these elections is something that even the biggest political pundits are unable to understand. What most people are saying is that the reason why he called these elections was because he wanted the left wing of the party to probably join with him and give them less time frame to prepare for the elections. However, but that has not happened. What we also have to remember that these elections could end up in a very unprecedented situation for the French politics. We have to remember that 577 is the number of seats. However, you need around 288 to have the clear majority. You do not get a clear majority, then the problem arises because both allies, you have to remember there are three key political parties who are involved here. There is a far right coalition which is led by Marine Le Pen and Jordan Bardella. Then you have the extreme left, the center left, who have created their own alliance, which is called the Front Populaire. And then you have the Macron. Macron, as of now in the polls, is at the number 3 position. Both allies have said that they will not have any tie-up with Macron if there is a hung assembly, which probably means we do not know what could happen in the future, because in that way we will have probably no government in France, and what will happen after that is something that we will all have to see.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.